We're here at the one and only Fanatic Cigar House in Lodi, New Jersey. Here with the Cigarians presenting tonight's burn. You know the motto, let's smoke.
Hey, what's happening? This is Dr. Mac here at the famous Lodi Fanatic Cigar House, featuring tonight's burn with our special guest, Corrie Johnson. And before we even go on, just want to let you know that this is an adult conversation. If you are under 18, turn it off. Parents, make sure that your kids are not looking at this. This is not anything that they need to see because we are adults. We may have adult conversations, so this is for mature audiences. So, tonight, man, you know, I'm really honored, man, to have you here. You know, we've had an opportunity to meet, and the thing about cigars, man, you have people that come around and they have so many different diverse careers and hobbies and lifestyles. And Corrie, man, you know, you have this thing about you, man. It's like, you know, you got, first of all, you got a great spirit, man.
Thank you,
you know, it's like, oh my God. Just the conversations that we've had range from sports to politics. And I don't want to insult you, man, but first time you told me about what you did, I thought you was a toy dealer. You say, yo,
a lot of people make that mistake.
I said, yo, yeah, I got all these toys, I got this, I sell that. I said, oh man, really? I said, okay, well, it's a hobby, but you know, it actually is a career for you.
Yes.
So, you know, give the viewers an idea of what it is you do and how long you've been doing it.
All right, well, thanks for the compliment and a little insult. Nah, no insult. Actually, Mac, I've been a collector since the 70s. From the first time I seen Star Wars, you know, annoying my mom, go out and buy me these $2.99 figures, and they're considering it junk. And just something about, I didn't know a whole lot about collectibles, the collectability and value and things appreciating, but I just wanted them. Fast forward, I got in my mid-20s, still watching cartoons, reading comic books and everything, and I just started buying. And I didn't necessarily look at it as a career, it's a possible investment. So what I did instead of, I was working for an IT company at the time, and I wanted to supplement my income. And I really didn't have the time, and logistically, it was hard for me to work a part-time job because my full-time job was 45 miles away from where I live at. So I started seeing people doing shows, VFW shows, KFCs, PAL shows. And I asked them, I said, what do you guys sell? You know, knickknacks, household goods? And they were like, oh, well, we sell toys and vintage games and stuff. And I'm saying to myself, well, as far as having capital to start a business, that's something I had already. I just needed an avenue to sell it. And I really wasn't into the online thing at the time. So what happened was I started doing the shows. They were monthly shows. And once you get on the circuit, just like anything else, other opportunities present themselves. So it was people selling collections. I would buy certain people's collection if it was something of interest. And more venues started opening. I started doing town shows, monthly shows again, flea markets, and I was selling it. I was selling it quicker than I could get it, and at the time I was still working. In 2016, when my position ended at the company I was with, I continued doing my shows, and I got it instead of monthly or bi-monthly or whatever, I started doing weekly venues, and I started doing bigger and bigger shows. And the whole thing is, I knew what I knew about collectibles, and once I got on the whole circuit, I got an education in what sells. And I took it from there, man.
So, I mean, you talk about collectibles, right? And then, all right, first let's just say toys. Let's put that on the back burner. But you say collectibles,
right?
Like it's something that people should understand there's a difference.
Absolutely.
So what's the difference between a toy and a collectible?
Well, the whole thing, some toys are collectibles. The collectability, not so much the collectible, the collectability is based on how rare they are, all right? Are they mass produced? Is there a limited quantity? Is there anything contractual and legally wrong with the item being sold? There was once an incident where they had a super soaker gun, and excuse me if it wasn't the actual super soaker, but it was a high-powered water gun, and it came with a foam, all right? When it shot the foam out, it kind of resembled semen, so they pulled it off the market.
Okay.
So it was something you probably could have bought for $35 at the time. If you have one of them now, it's worth about $1,500 just because of the controversy. So getting back to the point you're saying, toy versus collectible, there are Porsches you buy to drive every day. You go out and get yourself a 911, that's your daily rider, that's your weekend. There's Porsches that you get and you put in the garage and drop the gas out of it. So it's what do you intend on doing with it. There's toys that kids have that are worth money, other ones aren't. If it's 100 pieces in a series, maybe 2 of them would be worth any serious money. But when you take something and you handle it, it's different. When you take it and put it away, it's a piece of art. Just like somebody, I've heard people see Rodin and Basquiat paintings, and they were like, why would somebody spend $5 million for that? What does it do? That's the same thing they say with collectibles. Well, what does it do? You appreciate it. You appreciate the art, you know? And the biggest distinction is what you use it for. There's toys that you use to play with, bring pleasure to you and entertainment. There's other things you put away and you appreciate. They appreciate in price, and you hold on to them.
Well, who do you sell to?
My general audience, it ranges. I have things that are for toddlers, you know, kids 5, 6 years old.
Now, toddlers, do toddlers know they have collectibles?
That's funny you should say that. A lot of parents shy away from, depending upon what venue I'm at, I have certain items that I bring just for somebody trying to shut their kids up. I have a tub, everything will be from $1 to $5 in that, and that's for the kids. When you look on top of the table, then you see $600, $700 items, $50 items. Those are for the adults. I try to have something for everybody because I never underestimate a customer or a client, I say, what they have in their pocket and what their budget is, because I've been surprised both ways. I've seen people with jewelry on, blah, blah, they walk away to buy the cheapest thing on my table. Then I've seen other people that look like they didn't have 2 nickels to rub together and they end up spending $400 or $500 with me. So I made the mistake of saying when I first started doing this, I had an elderly couple. They would come to a monthly show that I did in Wayne, husband and wife, and they would look for Lego minifigures, which was a big seller of mine. And they're picking out all these Disney minifigures. And I said, oh, you getting these for your grandkids? And the lady just looked at me. She's like, no, they're for me. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. So I stopped saying that. So getting back to the initial question, people I've sold to have been from 5 years old to probably 80, and everything in between.
You know, you think about that. You said you have such a wide variety. You have 5 years old all the way up to 80. Now, it means that there's something in common. They have this desire to have the same things.
Yeah.
Right? So when it becomes rare, right, you have an opportunity to make a certain amount of money, but then when you're selling the kids, do you drop the prices, or is it something that you consistently have? You have that price locked in, and then you keep it, or when you see a young kid coming in, you say, oh, let me not. So you control what the prices are.
Right.
Okay.
In my head, like some things, if I have consignment, if you give me a piece to sell for you and you say, look, I need to get $100 for this, I'll call you, hey Mac, she'll pay 90, will you take 90? If you say you have to get 100, I'll get 100 for you. For me, in my head, I move money around. I could have something I trade it for, I'm not going to look at that the same as I would something I paid cash for. I traded for it, all right? So what I would do is, I got a $50 item here. I got a $15 item here. This $50 item, I paid $12 for. The $15 item, I paid $10 for, all right? So I say, look, I give you that for 10. I'll save you $5 on that. This one right here, I'll save you $5 on that. So I just move money around in my head and I make it fit. I really hate saying no. I really hate saying no. And another thing I do when it comes to discounting, when people buy multiple items, I always tell them, I'll bundle it for you. And they're like, well, what does that mean? I said, well, you're getting this, 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 and this. I said, don't worry about the price. You let me know when you're ready. I used to sell cars for 10 years too. So I was taught to believe that price doesn't matter. And when somebody's shopping and you have a client in front of you, that's their intention is to spend money. You get people asking you questions just in general, just for their knowledge, because they might be trying to do what you're doing, or they may have something similar to what you have and don't know a price point. But what I tell them is, what is it worth to you? Like, what do I need to do to get you to take these three things home with you today? And he's like, well, you have 135, I could do 100 even.
Wow.
In my head, I don't know. I was like, well, you know, totally I paid $75 for it. Do I want to just make $25 on it? Yes or no? And I make my decision based on that. So I rarely lose a battle when it comes to negotiating, unless they're just lowballing. Certain people are just on other planets with stuff. They know they can't get it. They know what they go for. And I don't play the game with them. If it's somebody that brings a kid and they really are heart, I deal with autistic children, special needs children. A couple of clients of mine are deaf, hearing impaired, and I like to make them happy. You know, when you have certain impairments that limit you from enjoying certain aspects of life that other people enjoy, if this pleasures you, I'm going to try to help you out as much as I possibly can.
How many people that you speak to actually understand what you do, man? Because when we first met,
right,
I didn't understand it. I'm gonna fess up. I didn't really understand it. I'm getting a better understanding of what it is you do now. In fact, I brought my little man over to hang out, you know, one day, and he walked into your shop and he said, "Yo, Daddy, is this a museum?"
Yeah.
You know, everything was out and it was very well kept, showcased, bright lights, the whole nine. But, you know, that was in that particular location and I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But how many people you speak to actually understand what it is you do?
Well, again, I speak to a lot of fellow collectors that do what I do. I speak to people that have a limited understanding, all right, of what it is. And the whole thing with that, when I explain it to them, when we're talking about just the money aspect of it, I said, look at these things as you would look at a stock. The whole thing, you could touch this. Like you look, you go on your TIA Creft, you go on your Edward Jones, Fisher, whatever, and you look at it and you say, okay, I'm doing good or whatever. These things, it's the same thing. You look them up, you get it, and you say, well, this piece was $75 last year. I got it for 80, I'm going to get it because it only seems to be going up. And it's ebbs and flows in it. You follow it, and if it's something you want, a lot of, like when you get back to the point about the age group, older people go, they clamor for nostalgia. Younger people are just getting caught up, like your son, just getting into the Marvel, DC universe, the Star Wars universe. So basically, this is what you're getting. We're here in the middle. This is what you're getting. These people going back. I've heard people say, I always wanted this when I was little. It was $50 in 1987, and my mother said that was too much. Now it's $450 and I could afford it. And I'm telling you, I see people buy stuff and I'm like, I sold stuff, I was like, I can't believe they paid that much for it, but they want it. And there's different reasons people want things. So that's the best explanation I could give people is I said, look at it as a stock that makes you happy. Not just financially, it makes you happy. It fills a void for you, you know.
Okay. So, you know, today you have a couple of pieces here.
Yeah, I bought a
so,
few things.
you know,
Personal collection.
Personal collection.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see
Where
some
you
of the
wanna
stuff
start?
you got.
Well, first of all, the name of my company is Walker Collectables. All right. I seen Blade. I've been following Blade since the 70s. And when they finally did the movie, which actually was the first MCU movie, I was all over it. And I was thinking about names for my company, and I was like, what do I like, what do I like? And I said, Walker Collectables. And the slogan is feeding your thirst for merch. You know, keep that vampire thing in there. And this right here is Funko Pop, which is like an incredibly popular item right now on the market. They came in the market in 1999, and the guys that started the company were people that just like advertising logos and mascots, like Bob's Big Boy, Freeze Polar Bear from the Ices. You know, they started doing bobbleheads, and then they came out with these 3.75-inch vinyl figures. And again, people look at them and like, what they do? I said, it sits there and looks cute. That's what it does. These actually bobble. I have one of these in my car. Well, not this one, the Black Panther. And the head actually bobbles. But they go by series numbers. These stickers right here indicate if it's from a particular manufacturer, a particular toy distributor. They have exclusive. So this one I paid about $12 for. It's worth about $50 now. And this is the comic book version of Blade, all right? Then I have what's called a Mezco 112. And when I say Mezco 112, it's the scale of the actual piece. This one also, move this up just a little, that's fine. This one also is Blade. This one's the Wesley Snipes version though, all right? And this piece is basically a highly articulated action figure. Comes with multiple heads, different jacket, multiple weapons, removable.
The head comes off?
Yeah, the head comes off. You can put another head on it. Like this is the one with him, like roaring. All right. Different weapons. All of this comes off. Shoes comes off and everything, and it's interchangeable. Sits on this platform. Fairly delicate. Not really meant to be played with. And they go for anywhere from $80 to $100 for something like that. And you can see on the artwork on the box, the different accessories comes with. So with something like this, if you ever want to sell it at a particular time, there's a lot of people to collect out of the box and other people collect in the box. So something like this, I will put back in the box to sell it, you know. And this right here, these are all from my personal collection. Also, I do sell them, but these particular ones are from my personal collection. This piece right here is from the Blade 2 movie. And this they actually had Wesley Snipes model for. It's from a company called Hot Toys. And again, this is a 1/6. So it's a bigger scale of that. But the same thing, highly detailed, multiple accessories. And in my opinion, it has a real good likeness to Wesley Snipes and his version of the movie Blade. And this, I was just looking at him.
Got the nice coat on and everything, man.
Yeah, it's all removable. He has multiple sets of shades. He has different hands, different weapons. He got his spikes there. He got his throwing knives there, sword. All true to form. The sword actually goes in the holster in the back, just like in the movie. And that one, I was just looking him up before we started this. He's going anywhere from $650 to $800 for this piece right here. And I had another piece. It's not a Blade piece, but it was just an interesting piece when I was telling you about how copyrights drive the pricing and the collectability of certain things. So I had this piece. You look at it at a glance, first thing you think is Bob Marley.
Right.
It's Bob Marley. They didn't ask his estate to use his likeness, all right? So it doesn't say Bob Marley, it just says Reggae Rasta. This was in the Pop Rocks movie series. This is number 8, music series, I'm sorry. He's in the same series with Elvis Presley, the original Run DMC set, and this is very hot. This one I paid $76 for, maybe in 2013 or 14. This goes anywhere from $500 to $600 now, just because of that.
Wow.
You know, so it's one of my prize pieces. I really like it.
So you gotta have some sort of talent to like guess.
You gotta know what you're looking at.
Yeah.
You gotta, and trust me, I don't know everything about collectibles. I know about what I sell. If it's something I get at a good price, I'll hold on to it. But you know, I try to buy what I know. It's people that sell He-Man and Thundercats. I know nothing about it. It could be $1 piece. It could be $1,000 piece. I wouldn't know. The things I know about, and I try to stick to them. You know, and I get kind of step outside of their market. But you know.
So I'm going to play little devil's advocate here.
Sure.
Because, you know, you walk into a place and you see a man of color,
Right.
selling merchandise, and you I'm not saying I do, all right. You know, I'd like to see, you know, brothers make money, all right, and have a profitable business. But what do you deal with in terms of who you are as a man of color in this business?
I tell you like this: the collectors are different. They are different as far as, are you meaning like from a racial, like a little?
Yeah, let's go there.
Yeah. So, do I ever experience hesitation or something?
Yeah.
I've seen things where not so much race, I think more so is pricing. I've seen people come up and buy Hasidic Jews, many Asians, and I'm going to be perfectly honest, because you know me. You mind?
Yeah.
You know me for a little while. I'm going to tell you this much. If I had to rely on black people to do this, I wouldn't have a business. I'll say that much. And that's me being perfectly honest from my heart. A majority of my clients, depends upon what venue I sell at, but the majority of my clients are young Hispanic people, young Caucasian people. If I sold to 20 people, maybe 2 of them would be black. And that's me being perfectly honest. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if black people see the value in it or not. Like, I know people spend a lot of money on cars, motorcycles, sneakers, jewelry, whatever you see. I don't know if they have, if it's a lack of imagination or something. You know, maybe we have too many other things on our mind to worry about, to have an imagination to appreciate something like
you know,
this.
we talking about people may not have disposable income, but
they will buy their kid a $200 pair of sneakers and the kid can't play ball. That's the part I don't understand. I've seen people come to my table, people of color, and dad's like, what are you gonna do with that? And I'm like, what's he doing with a pair of, you know, $250 Jordans on, and he don't look like he ever touched a basketball? What is he doing with that? And what will he do with that after they're done? You're gonna buy him another pair, he's gonna tear them up, and that's gonna be the end of it, versus buying something that, just jump off a little bit, but just to give you a little knowledge, when it comes to things like this, I'm not gonna say white people, but I'm gonna say other people have a head up with us when it comes to doing certain things and taking certain things serious. This one guy I'd done business with, I met him on Craigslist from Staten Island. I had Sons of Anarchy pop. It's like a $250 piece at the time. He's like, would you take $200 for it? I said, you come with the cash, we'll talk. He bought it from me. Long story short, his son's 14 years old, and this kid, he said, his dad told me, he said he has 2 semesters of college paid for through his collectibles.
wow.
And basically, he sells, this is his thing. He gets all the hot ones. He's at Comic-Con with people bringing him bags full of stuff. I'm watching grown people send this kid $1,500, $800, $2,000 through their PayPal accounts in front of me. So I know the guy's not exaggerating. And that's why I said, I know there's money in it. I've seen the money in it, and I'm trying to get the money in it. But I just wish more of us would, not so much even this, just open your mind to other things, you know. People always say, well, I'm broke, I need this, I need that. That's fine. You get a part-time job. I mean, it's been rougher now with COVID or whatever, but my dad, God rest him, always told me, always be able to make some money for yourself. You're going out asking people for this. Be your own boss if you can, you know? And even if you do have a regular job, there's nothing wrong with that. You can have 2, 3 regular jobs. Always be able to make some money for yourself, you know? So I just, like I said, I just wish more people of color would get involved in this. A good brother that I know from Newark, he's a principal at one of the science high schools over there. And he does what's called ChemFest once a year in Newark. And that would be something I would want you and your son to come to with me. Because it's beautiful. It's people of color, it's artists, you know, it's cosplay performers, it's martial artists involved, it's musicians involved, it's painters. It's not just this, it's a whole plethora of different people doing different things. And some of them, it's their full-time income, and other people, it's, you know, it's a side hustle for them. And it's a beautiful thing to see that. It is.
Well, who buys this more? Men, women?
I'm gonna stop you right there. Women are the best clients. When it comes to everything, they could influence a sale, they could kibosh a sale, but when they want something, and I'm surprised at the things they want. Like I had this rare set of Batman Long Halloween comic books. I do comic books too, I didn't bring any, but I do comic books. I'm getting more into it. This young girl, she works in this store that I shop at sometime, came in with her mother. And she's like, oh my God, boom, 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 boom. She said, how much are these? I said, $65. She's like, Mom, send them over $65. Didn't blink. I looked at her, I'm like, you read comics? I'm saying in my head, I would never say it out loud. Like I said, I put my foot in my mouth before. I would never say it out loud. But women spend, women drive sales, and even if it's not them spending, they could make or break a sale. So I will say, women are some of my best customers.
What's the biggest venue that you've ever sold at?
Oh boy. I had the pleasure of doing New York Comic Con 2019.
Wow.
And have you ever been?
I had taken my kids there. I never went inside.
Well, I mean, again, it's another casualty of COVID. I'm hearing things from the rumor mill that the show may still go on this fall, because it usually falls in October. But for 4 days, there's a constant flush of over 30,000 people in the Javits Center. And when I say constant, it's constant. Here's some of my associates. We had basically 3 booths set up, some nice real estate, and I just wish I could have bought more. I'll say that much. But it's wonderful. It's really, really wonderful. The only thing bigger than that, as far as shows, is the San Diego Comic-Con in California, which I have never attended, but I want to get out there. They said that's the mother right there. That's the one you want to be at.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, but I did Comic-Con.
You think this is going to be a viable business for others to get involved with? I mean, if you were to give some advice to someone about this business, if they want to start this business, what would you tell them?
Have some money, first and foremost. And when I say have some money, you have to have inventory. You can't sell from an empty shelf. I also do online as well. And you always have to have something going on.
You sell clothes too?
Yeah, I do clothing items.
You sell clothes, you sell comics, you
I jump around. Mostly t-shirts, hats. I've sold jeans before, but mostly t-shirts, hats related to this type of stuff. But you'd be surprised. I mean, I know you're heavy into music. I had a guy from New Zealand. I was selling on eBay at the time. and I had a Doors t-shirt from 2003.
Wow.
So he's hit me, he said, hey, how much would it cost to ship? I said, I got to look into it. Now, it was like a $25, $30 t-shirt. I said, bro, the shipping's $45. He said, okay, no problem, I'll pay it. So this t-shirt that I had like buy one, get one free on, that I wore on and off for 14, 15 years, sold for $80 basically. So yeah, I like clothes, like snapback hats, clothes. I don't try to rock the boat. It's like me, just to give you a narrative, it's like me having a successful hot dog stand and all I sell is hot dogs and soda and water. And all of a sudden I'm gonna jump in the sushi business. Now I may sell a little sushi, but I'm not going to convert my business over to a sushi business. I stick to what I know, you know. So I would tell them, have some money, do your research. There's a lot of wholesalers like NECA for one. They sell in, they're situated in Hillside. Their warehouses in Hillside, and they pop up the shows and they have great deals on stuff. So have a marketing scheme for one. Have a conduit to sell through. Have a secondary conduit to sell through. Have people that you can wholesale from and wholesale to. If I buy a lot of inventory for $2,000, you have a store. You know the stuff I have is worth $4,000 and you're willing to give me $3,000 to get your hands on it. Fine, here you go. I made my 1,000, I got my 2,000 back and made 1,000, and now you have inventory. So you have to have connects in it. I wouldn't jump out on a ledge with a business like this if you're just starting. Start small and see if you like it. Everybody isn't a people person. I've been told I'm a people person. So you gotta have a personality for this, because that'll make or break a sale. I've heard people mumbling about certain vendors. They're like, well, this guy's a bit of an asshole. You know, I want that PC guy, but he's a bit of an asshole. I don't want to spend with him. Always come across, answer questions, be knowledgeable, and stand your ground. But you have to have money. You have to have money for the rainy days where things slow down. And actually, as bad as COVID was to some businesses, my online business went up. I wasn't able to do the big shows or whatever, but people were doing those sympathy purchases and trapped in their house, and they were buying nice stuff too. You know, some of my higher end stuff. So have a marketing plan, have some connections, know the market, go to a couple of shows, go to trade shows, learn about the products. Learn about the products. Learn about flipping. You know.
Okay. So, you know, when we first met, we met over cigars.
Yes, sir.
And we were talking about different varieties of cigars. So, some nice sneaks, by the way, man.
Thank you, sir.
You sell those too?
I will.
Give me those sneakers.
I will. I would like to get into that, but again, I have to get a decent wholesaler, conduit to that. I would like to get in. Sneakers are very lucrative. People spend a lot of money on sneakers, you know, but that's really not my thing. I sell my kids used sneakers. You know, people seem to like them, you know. But yeah, I would like to eventually get into that too.
Oh, what kind of cigars you got in your humidor?
Oh, the humidor. I just ordered some CAO Anaconda 7058s, Capitulo 2, the LFDs. I just had the LFD Mysterios. I tried something called a Long John. It was a Connecticut with a long filled Nicaraguan leaf in it. It's a good, I'm mowing my lawn cigar. Not the greatest thing, but it was pretty good. And what else have I been dealing with? Oh, my flatheads. I like the flathead 660 and 770s. You know, so yeah, that's what I got in rotation.
So you have a certain palate for cigars. Are you like variety, or you just like to go with a certain blend?
Well, again, I don't go just by name brand. A lot of people, I was talking to a friend of mine that works at Monte Cristo Lounge, and he told me he had a client come in and ask him what's the best cigar. And this is somebody that really doesn't have that much of a cigar IQ. So he said, well, what do you mean as far as taste, as far as how it's rated,
Right.
as far as price point?
Right.
And the guy was like, well, just what's good. So long story short, he ends up selling him like 3 boxes of Opus X's. The guy's like a record executive or something, and he just wanted to impress his clients when they come into his office by having something nice. Me, myself, I've smoked and enjoyed $1.99 cigars. I smoked and enjoyed $35 cigars. And it just depends. I don't swing off of names. You know, some of the names that I do like, my father, LFD is one of my favorites, CAO is one of my favorite. When I first started in the early 90s, seriously smoking cigars, I had smoked Black & Milds and Hava Tampas and the Noblas and stuff back in the day. But when I started distinguishing the different cigars, I started H. Upman and Macanudo, and I was smoking the Ascots, the little tins they used to sell. So I would get them, and I started with that, and I said, okay, Macanudo, everything was a Macanudo. Then I had a Davidoff. I'm like, wow. And I just graduated. And saying I just smoke one type of cigar is like saying I only wear Nikes. I wear Nike, Adidas, Puma, whatever, if it's good, you know. So I prefer a medium body to Maduro is my zone. But I have much lighter cigars that were good, and it depends upon what you're pairing it with, you know. I have certain cigars with my coffee. I have certain cigars with my whiskey. I have certain cigars I smoke in the morning. I have other ones I smoke at night. I have other ones I smoke in the car, you know, so.
Okay.
I'm an omnivore when it comes to cigars.
Omnivore, okay. So, cognac, whiskey, gin, what is it that you go to?
Whiskey.
Whiskey.
Whiskey is the go-to.
Whiskey's the
Whiskey
go-to.
go-to. If I start with any of the other ones, I will finish with it. If you gave me a choice, I'm going with the whiskey. It just puts me in the right mood. If I'm doing a shot with somebody or if I'm sitting and sipping, I enjoy it the same. I like my whiskey. I like being able to distinguish, you know, one from the next. The different offerings as far as flavors. Like, being perfectly honest, when I first started smoking cigars, I just thought it looked cool. I didn't know anything about leaf and filler and hay and grass, cocoa, jasmine. That'd be another language to me then. But when I started smoking and pairing them with different things, it would enhance it. And I appreciate that I know that now. So just like I had to explain the toys to you, other cigars, non-cigar smokers, what do you get out of it? You know,
it was basically the same way for me too,
right.
You know, because you know, I had a taste that I've grown to, you know, so it was a certain thing in the beginning,
right?
And
you evolved.
Evolved. You know, that's a good word. You know, I want to think that I've had an opportunity to taste a lot of different sticks.
Well, look at where you're at.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
look, So, and before we go on, I want to say shout out to La Familia. La Familia. Want to say, you know, this is my favorite place to be. You know, we're in the Fanatics Cigar House in Lodi, New Jersey. I have to say, man, that, you know, I feel very comfortable in this place. You know, we are able to, you know, be here tonight to do this.
Fellowship.
And this, you know, that's what it's all about. So when we came here originally, it was about fellowshipping, you know, and we just had cool conversation. And as a result, we developed relationships, right? You know, so, you know, I can truly say you're a friend, you know, as a result of what we started, and now even to a point to where you're telling me more intimate stuff about your business.
Right.
got a chance to meet my kid, you know.
Yeah,
and
great little guy, great little guy.
So while we are here, we deal with more than just business. We deal more than just having these relationships. We've been affected by what's happening in the world.
Absolutely.
Right? And some of the things that I choose not to talk about, but you know, sometimes I find certain people may not have the scope or the depth of knowledge about what's happening around the world. And you know, I just, you know, I feel that I can ask you, you know, how do you feel about what's going on right now politically?
Wow. Well, again, talking amongst friends, because I was always told not to discuss politics and religion.
In religion, right.
But I'm going to tell you this. As many advances as we have made the past 5 years, I'm going to say has taken us back decades with this retrograde racism that has resurfaced due to a number of things. A lot of people would like to blame one person for it. I don't give one person that much credit, but they played a part in it. It's been there. It's a dangerous time for everybody. And that's because of the pandemic, which was, it keeps showing you how downplayed it was and how much of a misstep that was by our leaders, world leaders, not just a leader of the United States, world leaders. As far as me personally, I'm hopeful for the future. I'm just worried about our young people when it comes to dealing with certain things.
Right.
And I'm worried about how we don't filter out more of the promise, more of the good stories. It's something I've seen in our media that happened at the time of the OJ situation in June of 1994. The OJ chase, I use this term, the OJ chase has never ended. All the coverage that got 27 years ago has transformed our media into that sensationalism, into that shock value. Like if you hear anything on the news about something lighthearted and heartwarming, it's usually towards the end of the program. But you're constantly inundated with all this bad news. And it's building misconceptions about people, neighborhoods, financial situations. You're seeing old people getting robbed for their money, you're doing all these scams. As much as this social media has helped, it's worsened because we're getting information so much faster now. Mm-hmm. And what happens is, I don't think we could truly process it. You can't process one thing before you're dealing with the next. And I don't think our brains are meant to work like that, you know? And it's very depressing. This past year was very depressing. One of the more depressing times in my life. And not so much I felt sorry for myself, but just in general, feel sorry for people. Everybody you know telling you somebody died, this and that.
Right.
And still, in the back of my mind as a black person, I got to deal with this, and this. Plus I got to deal with being black. And I'm like, how did being black become a crime? How has it metamorphosed into being a crime and you're public enemy number one, you know? And people are afraid of you. I'm like, if you're black, you're afraid of everybody. You're afraid of white people, black people, police, politicians, doctors. You fear everybody. And it's just another thing I think that makes this place special is you come to be yourself and who you are, and we have this one common tie that binds us, and it gives us relief. You know, you have that catharsis when we're here together. You have a number of people that I don't even know have came here and they had shit on their mind and they trickle it out. They'll sit and talk to you, or talk to Kenny, talk, you know, trickle out like, I gotta let somebody know this, you know. They have that angst.
Right.
This is taking a lot of the angst off for me, being able to do this in fellowship with brothers and just tell people a little bit of what's going on. But I have hope. You know, I worry more about our youth getting the wrong idea, because I recall we had a conversation. You said your son hit you across the head with a question you didn't expect to come out of his mouth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But this is all part of that. Mm-hmm. Children getting information. You can
right.
look up anything, anytime.
Mm-hmm.
And I always explain to my kids when they're out in public, when they're in situations, I said, remember you're the black guy. I was like, nothing wrong with it. I said, but just remember it and remember what comes with it. I try to educate them on our culture, our family history in general, our plight as black people in this country, and go out into the world and do better. And one of the big things I say is we need to take back our own communities. And me living in a suburb in central New Jersey, I don't see it like somebody that lives in Patterson or Newark or Camden would see it, but I still am a part of that community. My family and friends are in that community. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And if you want people to respect you, you gotta start out by respecting yourself, building up your communities and building up the people within their communities to do better. Support each other, you know, support each other. You can't live by the word of any one man. There is no black savior. Stop looking for it, you know, stop looking for it. You are your own black savior. There is no black savior. There's no one person that's gonna come and clear up 400 years.
And it's a lot we have to do for ourselves.
Absolutely.
Right, so.
It's a big deal.
You know, I have to tell you, man, tonight was a special night. I started off the show and we kind of organically went in different directions, man, but you've enlightened me. And as the viewers get a chance to see what this is about, I'm sure that they'll take some jewels home as well. We talked about business, we talked a little bit about family, we talked about some of the things that you've had to overcome, talked a little bit about politics, and this is the life that we live when we come to a place like this and we can share.
Absolutely.
Right? So I just want to say thanks, man. Thanks for coming and doing what we do. Yeah, this is extra special, man.
Absolutely.
Again, first of all, before we leave, how do people get in contact with you? What's your online presence? Let folks know where you are so that you'll be able to sell more of these goodies.
Sure. Well, two of the venues I sell at, my main venues are the Englishtown Flea Market, Englishtown, New Jersey. I'm also available at Collingwood Flea Market. I'm online on my Instagram at COJO_TCHALLA. My email is Colejo, COLEJO7669 @gmail.com. I also have a Macquarie store under capital DUNPEEL7, Dunpeel 7. That's my online presence on Macquarie.
Okay, so with that, I want to say I wish you all the luck in the world.
Thank you, brother.
And beyond what we do tonight, I know I'm going to see you again. We're going to kick it some more.
Absolutely.
Want to say to the viewers, this is what we do. This is tonight's Burn. I want to say thank you for looking at us tonight, enjoying what we do, observing what we do. And if you want to take an opportunity to join us, please come here, Fanatics, Lodi, New Jersey. We are the Cigarians, and this is tonight's Burn.